Alright everybody, it's time for night number 2 of my favorite games from Next Fest 2024, the October edition. Having more indie games worth checking out. And with that said, let's get to our list. We are starting things off with Antonblast. This game feels like the Sonic to Pizza Towers Mario. We play as Anton, a very red and very angry individual. When the devil steals his pigment of red because he is jealous of it, we go on a very rage-filled platforming adventure to get it all back. This is a very, once again, movement-focused 2D platformer. You do have health in this one, unlike in Pizza Tower, but you'll need to use your hammer to kind of dash into enemies, bounce into platforms, and more. You also, as you can see, yell and can jump between the foreground and background. The game is definitely going for just sheer, I guess, like volume in terms of the level design and the kind of effects that are happening on screen. I did find this one to be a little bit more on the jankier side compared to Pizza Tower. It's a little bit harder to control. Instead of having a complete dash, you have to kind of keep revving it up as you're running, or you'll run out of steam. Still, the 2 levels from the demo show off a huge amount of variety. Now, one thing that I do hope that gets a little bit worked on is that there are bonus collectibles to find in the levels, but a lot of them are one-shots. So if you screw up and you miss it, you have to restart the level. You won't have any chance of getting it. I hope that does get kind of corrected, because it is a little bit unnecessary frustration. But if you are pizza out of your towers and looking for another game to run, smash, bash, and crash to, then definitely give this one a try. We now switch over to the Spirit and the Samurai. This is a 2D action adventure game with kind of the main hook is that it's done entirely in stop motion. When your village is attacked by monsters, it's up to you to hack and slash your way through to save the villagers and figure out what is going on. Our combat here is built on you kind of properly doing parrying, dodging, and trying to get attacks in. You can change which attacks are part of your combo string, kind of similar to that of God Hand. But the bulk of this is going to be focusing on you trying not to run out of health while dealing with these enemies. The look of this one is definitely the selling point of it, with some very beautiful cutscenes and very disturbing enemy designs. The main issue that I have with this is that combat is just very clunky and kind of cumbersome to go through. It's kind of hard to see with the footage, but there are very apparent delays in between button presses and animations, and it's very easy for enemies to just kind of like get stuck in your model and getting into these like rolling fights with them. And of course, when you fight more than one enemy, it becomes a nightmare as enemies can attack through each other to get to you. If the combat can be refined, this could be a fantastic action-adventure game that's worth checking out, but I would at least give this demo a try now and see if you can hack it for yourself. We now go to Zefyr, A Thief's Melody. This is a game by a solo developer that's been in development for a long time, and it kind of plays like an indie take on the Zelda, that kind of formula. You'll explore the world as Zefyr, a young man who's trying to become a thief. One of the kind of like heroic thieves, not those evil ones. And he's going to be taking training from Master Josh. No, I did not make that up, nor did I agree to appear as a cameo in this one. But with the aid of Josh, Zefyr will learn a variety of tactics and explore a very huge 3D world. Our gameplay goes between that of stealth, action, and some 3D platforming. You'll pick up a variety of abilities that you'll need to complete quests, which will earn you kind of the game's currency, which once you get enough and you make enough progress, will unlock a new tool for you to mess around with. The game is definitely going for more of a casual / cozy affair. This is not going to be an overly difficult game if you have any experience with 3D platforming. I did enjoy what I was seeing here. It's kind of going for like a jack of all trades, master of none kind of approach. So if you are someone who's looking for another 3D platformer to try out, and one that's going to be very kind of cozy and relaxing to play, I would definitely give this one a try. I am certainly looking forward to seeing how this game's going to end up when it is finally finished. We now switch over to Trash Goblin. This is another cozy game where you play an adorable goblin who works at a trinket store, and you're going to have to clean and restore various trinkets to then sell to the various citizens of the city. Each kind of cleaning apparatus takes place in the form of its own little minigame. The chisel is used to break up blocks, your sponge is kind of like a light kind of cleaning power wash simulator style affair, and you'll just be going about your business, cleaning and selling. Now, we didn't get a chance to see kind of like where money or if money is actually going to be used for anything in this one. But this is definitely looking like a very adorable game. This is not going to be like a hardcore shop sim, cleaning sim, that kind of thing. But I would definitely recommend this one if you're looking for a very kind of casual game to play with a variety of mini games to boot. We now go to Buktu and the Anywhere Elevator. This is a 2.5D platform where you play as Ari, a student who has apparently gone with his professor in a kind of time-traveling elevator, which I'm sure is not related to any kind of future or backwards movie. But they are on a quest for adventure, treasure, and Ari to get some extra credit back at school. The entire game is played 2.5D style as you'll explore variety of environments, trying to solve puzzles, and get through a variety of obstacles. The platforming here feels really well done. You'll have to make use of physics and puzzle solving in order to complete various tasks, and there's also bonus collectibles that you can find as well. Now, because of how the camera constantly is panning and shifting, it can be a little disorienting in places, especially when you're trying to figure out exactly where you're supposed to go, because your orientation in the level can greatly change at the drop of a hat. But there is a lot of variety in this one from what we've played. The commentary from our various characters is funny, or can depend upon how you like the writing in it, but this one definitely has some potential. If you're looking for another kind of short form platformer, one that looks to have a lot of variety as well as a lot of humor with it, then I would definitely recommend giving this one a try. We now come to some more platforming with Lovish. This is a kind of modern retro, kind of like a micro platforming or micro rooms. You play a hero who is trying to save the princess, but you also want to make sure that she only falls in love with you. So you're going to do everything within your power to be the sole hero on duty. After each level, you get kind of like these little mini JRPG vignettes that, well, don't really do much. But the platforming here is your standard affair. You'll run, jump, and slash your way from room to room. The game will checkpoint after each level, and of course levels become larger and more dangerous as the game goes on. Now, the demo/prologue did not show anything in terms of progression, which the store page does hint that you'll gain different moves or abilities. This one has potential, but I do want to see, or I would like to have seen like more variety in terms of mechanics or the growth of the level design. So if you're looking for what appears to be another challenging platformer, then this one could be worth a check for you. We now switch over to Windblown. This is the next game from Motion Twin, the developers of that little known game Dead Cells. They are now going into kind of the Hades action roguelite formula, with the twist being that the game will be set up for up to 3-player co-op on top of the single-player content. As for our gameplay, we are exploring kind of floating islands, trying to get resources to help a kind of floating city. And of course, we are going to have to attack, slash, and maybe shoot a lot of enemies along the way. Now, if you played Hades or Dead Cells, the kind of basics of the combat should be quite familiar. You're going to assemble your build out of a collection of weapons. Each weapon has different kind of rules and properties for how you'll use them, And of course, there is an extensive metagame of unlocking new features, gear, and so on to help you on future runs. The demo itself could only be played single player, so we obviously couldn't check out how the multiplayer works, but I did like what I was seeing. Combat feels really solid, and each weapon does have a suitable difference of how it behaves. And that is going to do a lot to keep these runs fresh. Now, with that said, we didn't get to see too much of the meta progression in this one as well, but there is definitely a lot of promise here for fans looking for a multiplayer take on kind of the Hades formula. So, if you're a Dead Cells or Hades fan with a few friends or just want to go at it alone, then definitely give this one a try. And for our last game of today's video, we go to Senseless. This is a 2D platformer where you play an astronaut mouse who is unfortunately some strange creature that has cursed them. And now the world is getting all topsy-turvy and we're going to platform our way to recover our senses. The kind of hook of Senseless is that all the jumping and movement tech is built on a more, I guess, like gentler version of the committed jumping of, say, a Prince of Persia, a Flashback, Out of This World, that kind of affair. So you can jump at different angles. You can do kind of a long horizontal jump, a straight vertical jump, and kind of a slightly diagonal jump based on how you're holding your direction. Once you're in the air, you are going to be going, but you do have some malleability of when you can kind of stop your jump. And you're going to explore this cavernous world trying to find clues of how to proceed. I do like the kind of like DOS style aesthetic for the different caves and environments you're going to go through. If I had any problem with this one is that the map functionality literally didn't work. Like, none of the buttons on the gamepad actually responded to the map. And I'm not quite sure if the mapping was actually in this one. But this one has a lot of promise. I like how they're trying to make the kind of committed jumping a little bit easier to get into. The game checkpoints appears to be quite regular. I think it's room to room, although it's kind of hard to tell from the state of this demo. If you're not a fan of committed jumping, Senseless is not going to work for you. But I do like how they took a bit of the bite out of that old school design while still giving you the feel of it. So there is definitely potential here for fans of platforming puzzles or puzzling platforming in the future. And that is going to take care of night number 2. You'll find the whole stream uploaded to our Game Wisdom gameplay channel, and tune in later today for night number 3 of our play. And guess what? There'll be a part 3 of this tomorrow. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think about these games down below, and see everyone later tonight and in the next video.